Hello, folks. Welcome back to my channel. This is the World of TV Shows, and today I've decided that I'll be reviewing a different TV show than the others I was than the other ones I was previously reviewing, and this one is none other than Without a Trace. And now I'm gonna be talking about the pilot episode. This is the episode I'll be reviewing today on the video. But yeah, I'm thinking about reviewing the show, the whole show, trying my level best anyway, episode by episode. And I guess that today is the pilot, right, that I'll be reviewing. So, the pilot episode, what is it about? So, first off, the pilot episode was aired on September 26, 2002 on CBS. It was directed by David Nutter and written by Hank Steinberg. And for those who don't know, the show is set in New York City, and it's basically about it focuses its attention on the FBI missing persons unit, right? And what do? Basically, whenever somebody goes missing, it is up to them to try and find them, right? So they're gonna have to you know investigate, run a thorough investigation, learn about their whereabouts, what they were doing prior to them going missing, kind of retracing their lives, so to speak, what happened, anything, any major events that could have precipitated them going missing. It's pretty much how it goes. It's a very thorough kind of investigation that is led by our main character, who's at the in charge of that missing unit. His name is Jack Malone, who's played by Anthony LaPaglia. It was a pretty awesome actor, I have to say, and especially very in this first episode. Yeah, you maybe you see it, but as the show goes on, he's very charismatic. He's very interesting. He's very devoted. He's very dedicated to what he's doing. So yeah, he's a good asset to the FBI missing unit. And then you have other characters that are gonna help. You have Samantha Spade, right, who's played by Poppy Montgomery, who is also a very very talented investigator. She's a blonde, right? In case you're wondering, she's the one actually that is here on the picture that I used. So she's the one with holding the mug, and yeah, she's a really good detective as well. She's really smart, and she's very supportive. She has a big heart, I believe. She's really a character you can depend on, and that's something I like about her. Then we have Vivian Johnson, who's played by Marianne Jean Baptiste, who's African American, and she's also very good as well. She's pretty much serious when it comes to investigating. She's just you know kind of a a hardworking lady, and that's something I like about her. Then we have Enrique, or is it Enrique Murciano, who plays Danny Taylor, who's another favorite of mine, another one of my favorite characters and actors, right? And basically, he's Hispanic, right, of Hispanic descent, if I'm not mistaken. I don't recall exactly what country, maybe somewhere in Latin America, but he's also pretty awesome, and he's kind of the funny guy, the one who kind of likes to mess around a little bit, come up with all these jokes. But he's also very dedicated to his work, and he's also very passionate about what he's doing. Then we have, as a matter of fact, Eric Close, who plays Martin Fitzgerald, and Martin Fitzgerald is actually the newbie, right? I believe that this is his first case, right? And yeah, he's just arrived. Let me see here if I can find something. Yeah, I'm kind of checking the synopsis, but yeah, I'm pretty sure that it was his first big case, right? Yes, he's the new recruit, right? So basically, what is this case about, right? Now that I've kind of introduced you to the characters, so it's basically, yeah, as I said, it's the missing persons unit, and their job is to find the missing person. And yeah, this first case is about a marketing executive who went missing, and she was pretty successful. And her name was Maggie Cartwright, who is played by Arija Barakis, who's our guest starring actress in this episode. And basically, yeah, she just went missing, and the FBI has to try, the missing unit has to try and find her. So they're trying to, check, kind of dig into her life, her personal life, her what she was doing prior to her going missing, her secrets. They're trying to, look at all kinds of different angles. And this is something I really like about the show, how much it is, you know, focused on the character that goes missing. It's really, you have a whole kind of uncovering, of their secrets, of any skeletons in their closets. So it's so good, man. It's really really interesting to see that. You don't get to see that in a lot of TV shows. It gets really personal, and they talk to the families. Usually, they try to gather up as much information as they possibly can. It's so good. And basically, yes, this woman, it appears that she was very successful on the outside, but on the inside, there's more, underneath the surface, as one might say. She was a little sad, right? She kind of, yeah, at some point drugs are a possibility, that she was actually, yeah, I think that they find out something about her doing drugs or something like this. She has some issues with her family. Her relationships weren't that good. I can't recall exactly off the top of my head everything, so I'm looking here at some, summaries of the episode. I hope that's okay, you know. But yeah, just to kind of get my thoughts in order. But yeah, basically, at some point, they might even think that she might be suicidal, and that, she might not have gone missing, and that there might be something else, right? But then afterwards, there's a big discovery, and I'll let you find out for yourselves, since I don't want to spoil the episode for those of you who haven't watched it. But then, yeah, they come across this very, big kind of big thing, big discovery, right? So, without a trace, the pilot episode, what did I think about it? What are my impressions on it? What are my thoughts about it? So, Without a Trace is an awesome TV show, and this pilot episode really does an awesome job at setting up the mood for us, setting the mood, the characters. We're introduced to them, we see them, in their in their workplace, outside, field work, and all of that. It is so good, and I really enjoyed how they're all so, you know, tenacious. How they're all so, you know, how could I say, involved in what they're doing in the case. It's not, it's one of those TV shows, like I said, that really gets personal. And it's really about, finding as much as possible about the character, their whereabouts, what they were doing, to try and, and, maximize as much as possible the chances of finding them alive. Because this is kind of the thing that keeps us, at the edge of our seat, so to speak. Will they find them in time, or won't they be able to? Will the missing persons have survived or not? And this is the question, the big question that we have as we watch it, right? As we go on this fun, exciting ride. We never know exactly what to expect. So anticipation is a pretty big thing about this TV show. This whole not knowing what's going to happen. Not knowing what curves, what turns and twists. The episode will show us. Will throw our way, right? So I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed that aspect of the TV show, right? And also, I didn't mention, but this one is like the pilot, so you don't really have the opening credits. You just have the beginning, and then you have the title, a little bit like a movie. But then, basically, the format of the TV show is that as you go on with the episode, you get to see how long the people have been missing, and this is something I really enjoy, right, about the TV show, right? So there's also, yeah, it's kind of like a countdown sort of thing as well, I believe. And you also have, the characters, trying to, on a whiteboard, they write down, the big things, the big events that happened in order to, you know, whenever they come across, they stumble upon something that they might see as relevant, they write it down. I think that's pretty good, to try to keep as much, you know, key, kind of writing down whatever is important. I thought that this was good. So perhaps before we wrap it up, let's move on to some of the other actors. So I told you about the main ones. Then we have Bruce Davison, who plays Paul Cartwright, who's the father, if I'm not mistaken, of the girl who went missing. Then we have Rosemary Forsyth, who plays Nancy Highsmith. Zach Grenier plays Ricardo. Bradford Tatum plays Bartholomew Higgins. Then we have Tom Berry, who plays Frankie. Tom Berry, who later on, starred on Cold Case, right? And, he was really awesome in Cold Case. So, yeah, he was one of the main characters. I happened to review the show as well. Then we have Noel Guglielmi, who plays Chico. Taylor Nichols plays Tom Wilkins. Stephen Sneeden plays Brian Doherty. And then we have Hope Levy, who plays the secretary, and Ty Miller, who plays an FBI agent. So yeah, all those characters are pretty awesome. And I have to say that, yeah, it was a pretty awesome episode. And I apologize, I don't recall exactly a lot since I happen to have watched this episode, yeah, about a year ago. But the reason why I'm reviewing this, and I'll get to it as I'm about to, end the video, is because, I just came upon this awesome channel, and I'll put it down in the comment section down below. Yes, I'll link it. And on the description, sorry. And basically, yes, it's an awesome YouTuber who happens to review the show, who happened to review it, all the seasons, all the episodes. He did an awesome job, and I wanted myself to kind of throw my head in the ring and, review it for myself, since it's one of my favorite TV show, and since, him and me have that in common, I decided myself that, yes, I would be doing the same, right? Because it's always fun when when people have, similar TV shows that they like, to review them, and see and check out the other one's review to see whether or not they agree on, certain things, what they thought about the episodes. So it's always interesting to have that, I believe. So, yeah, this is pretty much how it goes. So really enjoyed it up until the final twist, when you have them finding something, whether it's a dead body, or the person still being alive or not. I'll let you find out for yourselves, because I don't want to, spoil the episode too much or anything. But yeah, really awesome episode. So if I were to rate this episode on a scale from 1 to 10, it's one of my, it's a good one. It gets better as you go on, but it's a good introduction to the series, to the mood, to, yeah, what happens, what this show is about. So I would give it an 8 out of 10. I believe that it's a good review. And yeah, 8 out of 10 sounds like a good rating for this episode. What do you think, people? So really enjoyed this episode. Really enjoyed the whole anticipation. The missing person was interesting too. It was good having her. She had a rather complex life, but I guess this all adds to this interesting part about the episode. The fact that some characters are, there's a lot underneath the surface that we don't know, and we'll find out as the episode, structures itself, and progresses and develops, and yeah, we'll see. We learn more, and so on and so forth. So this is something I really enjoyed. So 8 out of 10 for me for this first episode of this show. Really enjoyed it. So I guess that's pretty much it. What about you folks? What did you think about this first episode of the show Without a Trace? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Please let me know in the comment section down below. Let's talk about it. Let's discuss. And apologize if sometimes I don't recall everything about some episodes. It's just that some of them are very complex to keep in mind, but I'm trying my level best. So thank you if you made it this far, thank you. And I'll see you in the next review. In the meantime, folks, stay safe. Goodbye. Take care. This is the Word of TV show signing off.